come from Naperville Bank and Trust. I'd like to welcome President Tom Myers and Ron Davidson, first Vice President. Thank you for being here.
We're excited to be here, Katie.
Thank you so much. So tell me, Naperville Bank and Trust, in today's competitive banking environment, what makes Naperville Bank and Trust stand out from the crowd? What makes you different?
Well, I think, where we feel our difference is that we are embedded in the community, and we have the ability to react to community needs and to our business needs on a real personal level.
That's great.
We don't have a big hierarchy of approvals.
Yeah.
We can react and make local decisions, and people have access to our team on a very regular basis. We'd like
That's
to
great.
put a lot of personal attention into our relationships. Now, a lot of banks will say that. And,
Yeah.
I
You
respect
do hear
all that.
You do hear that.
But,
yes, right. But you really deliver, it sounds like.
We deliver it on a very local level.
That's great. That's great. And why is it important that we have a local community bank? I mean, why is that important to us here?
There's several models in banking, I think. Larger institutions that are nationwide or regional that provide great product services and locations, and then a community bank that if you're structured properly in a strong organization, you have all the products that a big bank has, but you deliver on the level of customer service that only a community bank can provide. You have experienced bankers, they live in the community, they're involved, you have the locations and the local leadership and local decision making to make a difference when you need to respond
quickly
in a timely manner for consumers or for businesses to meet their needs and help them achieve their goals. So
I think too, Katie, we have local board members that aren't employees of the bank that sit on our board. We're part of the Wheaton Charter, so there's Wheaton, Glen Ellen, and Naperville. And each one of those communities have representatives on the board, and it's not just an advisory board, it's a true fiduciary board.
Right, so your board members live in these communities.
They live in the communities, but they're not just there as advisors. They really have ultimate responsibility for the safety, soundness, and the performance of the bank, because we are separately chartered. In our community here in Naperville, three highly respected community leaders, Mary Ann Babowski, Frank Slocum, and Mike Scarr, are all part of our board. Now, why do they bring a lot of value? Well, they have a pulse on the community.
Yes, they do.
To us, in order to really deliver on our value proposition of being local, you need that kind of feedback that's feeding into the bank. So it's been really important. And the same happens in Glen Ellen and Wheaton.
Okay.
And I think that being a real community bank, we have a chance to get really involved in community. We get involved with volunteering our time and our leadership on many good not-for-profits. And that way, not only you hopefully move a needle in the community that you live in, but you make great friendships that lead to business and consumer relationships where there's a trust level, you know your clients, you're looking long-term for relationships, and nothing you're doing is considered transactional. It's really relationship-driven.
Right, so you see people in the bank and you see them at community events, and that just feels
and
right.
And at the KC meat counter.
That's right. Oh my gosh! I think I've seen you there.
A lot of business happens at
that's exactly right. So you've been in Naperville for 3 years. Is that right? I thought it was a little bit longer. 3 years. Tell me how it's changed. How that Naperville Bank and Trust has evolved over the 3 years in our community.
Well, we came to Naperville a little over 3 years ago when we acquired the Wheatland Bank down on the south side. And that was an FDIC failed bank, and we were successful in acquiring that bank. And so that was at 95th and Book Road, and we quickly closed that and have now moved to Fort Hill.
Oh, right.
And that was our first location.
Fort Hill and Aurora, right?
Fort Hill and Aurora.
Right.
And then within a year, we opened an office on Naper Boulevard. Down near Hobson and Naper and then Market Meadows area.
Got it.
Right next to the Dunkin' Donuts. We're the only bank that delivers donuts when you open an account.
Oh, wow. That's a perk.
It's a little tube that comes through, No, not really. And then a year and a half ago, we opened up the downtown post office.
Oh, and it's beautiful. And it's won all sorts of awards, too. All the design work you did.
Yes. That's right. But I think we're part of the Wintrust organization, which owns 15 community banks. And Wintrust, very focused on community bank, and they like a downtown presence. They like the main and main. And so when Wintrust founded Naperville Bank and Trust, they gave us the charge. We need to have a strong downtown presence.
Yes.
Well, the timing was right. The stars aligned.
Yes.
Post office was selling. They still wanted to be downtown.
A beautiful building.
And so we took the building
Yes.
and we've formed some partnerships in there with the Heritage Society. So to preserve that heritage, and they have displays in there, and the old mural and the photography around the building. Plus, the Children's Museum has a place for kids to play.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will come into the bank, their kids will play, or if they're in the post office, they'll go in there and play.
Yeah.
Just kind of creating that atmosphere.
So just in brief, sum up, for individuals, for small businesses, just in a couple of words, what you get if you bank with Naperville Bank and Trust. Why should they bank with you?
Ron?
Well, on the business side, and I'm a business banker to start with, what we provide is local experienced bankers and a relationship team to get to know a client, provide the level of communication and excellent service that helps him put his banking aside so he can focus on his business. He's got this covered, and we stay in touch with him on a level that lets us know what his needs are, so we help him grow.
That's great.
And we
That's
work on
great.
long-term relationships doing that.
Retail banking has changed a lot, and we have all those technologies. But one
Yeah.
of the things that we have is we had made a business decision a few years ago that we would rebate ATM fees because there was no way we could build a network across this country.
Wow.
So any customer that banks with us with a basic checking account can go to any ATM
That's
anywhere,
great. That's
and if
wonderful.
it says, "Hey, you're going to charge me $3," hit yes because we're going to rebate it.
100%.
And
that's great.
That's
Every
really
month.
worked out well.
That's wonderful.
So it's very, very competitive.
Well, thank you, Naperville Bank and
Thank you.
Trust. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back in a moment here on Chamber Connection.